NFL draft nerds, welcome in. Right now, we are talking about our top risers from the defensive tackle workouts at the 2025 NFL Combine. 5 risers that we're going to talk about here today. And these guys all have kind of different levels of projection, varying projections to where they'll play at the next level, to where they might get drafted. But I wanted to talk about the 5 guys who, to me, were the most impressive. And Ty Robinson, I mean, what can you say about his performance at the combine? It was unbelievable. 6'5" and 288 pounds. So comes in as a lighter defensive tackle prospect out of Nebraska. 32 and a quarter arms. So not the greatest length either. But 4.83 40-yard dash at 288 pounds. 171 10 split. 33 and a half inch vert at 288. 911 broad. The guy was incredible. 7.58 three cone, 20-yard shuttle of 4.5. And looking at the leaderboard for the defensive tackles in the three cone and the shuttle, he came in third amongst all the defensive tackles. In the three cone and the 20-yard shuttle, third as well. And look, not a lot of guys are doing that drill. So it takes some guts to go out there and do that with the big boys, right? And again, 288, not going to be the biggest guy out there, but you pop on the tape, it's a really interesting prospect, Ty Robinson. Out of Nebraska, he plays with his hair on fire. And you can see the explosiveness on tape, and you can see strength. You can see physicality. You can see that he wants to win through you, but he also has the explosiveness to where if he's if you're running games up front and he gets a free run, I mean, he will be in the quarterback's lap in a flash. So Ty Robinson, could he jump up to the third round? Maybe. I think he was definitely a day 3 prospect. I don't know that anyone expected him to kind of play with this much or show this much explosiveness at the combine. He's explosive on tape, but I mean, he had an incredible performance. So Ty Robinson, definitely a riser in my mind. I don't know that he projects to be a clear starter early on in his career. I think he could develop into a guy you can kind of move around the defensive front. And if you have an attacking style front, I think you can find a ton of value with a Ty Robinson. Now, my next guy is Darius Alexander, and he's been rising throughout the process. And he's a player out of Toledo, older prospect at 25 years old, right? He will be when the NFL draft comes around. To me, Darius Alexander is an instant starter. Big time instant starter. 6'4", 305 pounds, 34-inch arms, 10-inch hands. 4.95 40-yard dash. 172 10 split. 31 and a half inch vert, 9.3 broad. Didn't blow anybody away with the three cone and the 20-yard shuttle, but at least he did it. I respect guys going out and doing it. And to me, at 305 pounds, with the length he possesses and the technical prowess that he has on the field, really good with his hands and his feet, right? He's able to use his feet to kind of lull offensive tackles, offensive linemen, guards, tackles, centers, kind of use that hezzy step, get them going the wrong direction, then use those hands in concert with the feet. And then he shows the athleticism at the combine, which you see on tape as well. He showed it off at the Senior Bowl, and this is a guy who studies. He studied each of his opponents at the Senior Bowl, and it showed. He dominated the Senior Bowl. Like, he might have been the most dominant player at the Senior Bowl, certainly on the defensive line. And then he goes out there and has a performance like this, running a 4.95 40-yard dash at 305 pounds. I love Darius Alexander's game. I think he should be a first-round pick. My guess is early second. If a team lands him in the second round, they're going to be very pleased. And part of that has to do with just the fact that this is an insane defensive line class. And there's some guys that did field work that didn't test. Tyleik Williams being one of them, who looked really good, really athletic at over 330 pounds, which is no surprise to me based on the tape. TJ Sanders didn't test, but he did the field work out of South Carolina. He looked incredible. I don't know that either of those are risers because you didn't see the actual numbers, but both of those guys showed very well. And two different types of players. TJ Sanders is but a shade under 300, but coming in at 297 and moving the way he did with the tape that he has as both you're drafting him to rush the passer from the interior, but I think he's a better run defender and has the length and the ability to lock out offensive linemen to where he can be an effective run defender as well. But you talk about the rest of the guys that I thought really helped themselves who actually tested. So you got Ty Robinson, you got Darius Alexander. I do think Aeneas Peebles helped himself out of Virginia Tech. He's not on my top 5 because he's only 282 pounds, right? Small guy, but I think he's a good player. I think he's going to have a role in the NFL. How about Derek Harmon? This guy transferred from Michigan State to Oregon this year, 6'4.5", 313 pounds, 34 3/8 inch arms, 10 3/8 hands. Big boy, right? That is really good size. It's not like true nose tackle size. It's not like small 3-tech size. It's a guy who you can have balance with, who you can really depend on as a run defender and as a pass rusher based on his tape this year. He comes in with a 4.95 40-yard dash, 1.74 10 split at 313 pounds. So smooth, effortless for Derek Harmon. I think he's going to be a long-time plus starter in the NFL, and he's from Detroit, Michigan, so he'd love to play for the Lions. We'll see how that ends up playing out for him. But definitely somebody who, is he truly a riser? Because there's a lot of first-round buzz on him already. I think this solidifies that he should go in the first round. I think he's a first-round pick. Now, CJ West, another guy who I think has a fair amount of buzz and interest. And look, all these teams, they've scouted all these guys already, right? They know about these guys. But CJ West out of Indiana had a great year. Great year. He's a big guy. 6'1", not the tallest, but 316 pounds at 6'1". That's a lot of beef, right? That is a lot of strength on his frame. 31.5 inch arms, 9 3/4 hands. Not the biggest from a height and length, but he's got the mass to hold up at the point of attack. And at 316, he ran 4.95, 10-yard split, 33-inch vert. That's really impressive at his size. And so you got a squattier interior defensive lineman, right? With a lot of strength, with a lot of mass on his frame. I think CJ West is going to be a great run defender. I think he has some sneaky upside with his hands and explosiveness as a interior penetrator as well. He can work through you. He can get you with a club, a swipe, and explode past you. This is a good football player. I think he's going to be a starting defensive lineman in the NFL. I think this defensive tackle class is absolutely loaded. So CJ West, definitely a riser for me. Usually mocked probably day 3. Could he be a late day 2 pick? I think there's a good chance that could happen for him. And then our final of our top 5, we had Ty Robinson, Darius Alexander, Derek Harmon, CJ West. And the final one I wanted to talk about here is Tyrion Ingram Dawkins. Really interesting prospect. I don't know what to make of this, and so I don't want to call him a riser, but he's somebody I wanted to talk about. I don't know what to make of his combine performance because he came in at 276 pounds. I mean, that's basically like edge defender size. So are you just talking about a versatile guy? I haven't personally watched him out of Georgia, but 6'5", 276, 33.5 inch arms, 9 3/4 hands, 4.86 40-yard dash. The fastest. But again, he's the lightest guy out there. 1.69 10 split, 36-inch vert, 10.4 broad, 7.28 3-cone drill, 4.3 420-yard shuttle. Does this help him, or does coming in at 276 just say, hey, I'm a tweener? I don't know. Like, I don't really view him necessarily as straight up like a defensive tackle. I thought Joshua Farmer looked pretty good. I didn't think that he ran as fast as he could coming in at the side because he plays bigger than he came in at 305. Joshua Former out of Florida State. 6'3", 305, 35-inch arms, 10 quarter hands. I thought he could have ran a little faster at 305 because I think he plays bigger than that. But he looked fluid and smooth in my opinion. I think that he's going to be a day 2 pick. So that's kind of my takeaways, my reactions, some risers from the defensive tackle class at the 2025 NFL Combine. We have got defensive backs and tight ends later today. We're going to have a ton of Combine coverage talking about this group in the 2025 NFL Draft over the next several days. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy NFL Draft talk, NFL Draft coverage, you are in the right place. At Rogue Football, it is all draft all the time. If you enjoy the content, please hit that like and subscribe button, and y'all have a good one.